Deb Bins video.
1000th time in history.
Oh,
Oldest time. A bunch of gamers wanting to chill out and do nothing but play video games and constantly being fucked with by everyone on the planet. For probably the 10,000th time in history, video games are being actively removed for morally objectable content. A campaign led by, who to guess, the Australians, who have banned literally everything fun in their own country, so now they have to ruin it for everyone else too.
True.
And actively enforced by the payment processing company. Visa, most importantly, and Mastercard, but no one cares about Mastercard. If you have a Mastercard, you're not a people. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. It's just how it works. All right, so what actually got banned? Well, it's adult content. You know, like God of War, maybe Halo, that's pretty adult. No, not that kind of adult content. It's the kind you lock the door and paint the room white. You know, that kind of adult content.
All right.
Well, surely at least it's normal. The kind of stuff we all do and can defend. No? Actually, it's the most degenerate you've ever seen? Completely indefensible, you say? The
Not
kind
true.
of stuff where if you have a good mom, she wouldn't talk to you anymore? Or if you have a bad mom, you'll become closer than ever? And that's what people are mad about? That they can't download extreme smut? And not just that they can't download it, because you definitely can still find it in a million places. It's that they can't let their friends know when they're beating their meat. Because that's the only reason to buy a smut game on Steam, is so that you can let your friends know when you're jerking off and what exactly you're jerking off to. I genuinely cannot think of another reason why you would need to buy it on Steam specifically. Maybe it's for the...
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true in the sense that if you were going to say, oh, I want to support the developers, you could probably just contribute, you know, donate. Half of these fuckers have like a Patreon, subscribe star, or whatever, etc., instead of giving to them through Steam.
The achievements. You have to let your friends know that you have fucked both your mother and your sister and have collected all...
I thought Devin said he wasn't going to say the word incest, and then he just said fucked your mother and your sister. It's like the AI can figure that out. I mean, what are you talking about?
All of the hidden panty unlockables. No, people are mad about this for the same reason they're mad about everything else. It's the slippery slope. And even that is sort of a lie. What it really is people are mad about being attacked when they haven't done anything. People on their lonesome, having a good time, beaten off in the privacy of their own bedroom, and suddenly they are being attacked. And by whom? Who would do such a thing? Well, it's as I said earlier, it's Australians every time. Truly the most evil of peoples. But before I go into the full story and let you know why you should or should not care, make sure to subscribe. Alright, so what actually happened? What really got removed? Is it truly over? Will there be no more games on Steam anymore? You can only buy Hello Kitty's Island Adventure. Honestly, sounds like a better world to me, but I guess I just have more refined taste. So Valve delisted, meaning any game you have already purchased you still have, but you cannot buy, around 500 adult games featuring really close families. Like, I mean tight, like tight.
Oh, wow.
Like as close as you could imagine, like almost inside each other. They're so close kind of family. And games that involve women who aren't into it so much. They're not like...
this I do like. When he was describing to me that, you know, for the the rape, when he's talking about rape games, he's showing Hulk being up Wonder Woman. I'm like, that does sound funny. That does sound funny. That's a good idea.
There for it. They're having a tough time. Like, I'm talking about women who are feeling the same things I feel when I was playing Heartbound, like somewhere around that level of not enjoying it. And the reason these were removed is a group called Collective Shout, which is an Australian feminist organization who exists to fight the exploitation of women, sent a shitload of emails to Visa and Mastercard.
Of course, said women are allowed to exploit themselves, and also no, they're not going to go after Pornhub or any of the other big porn sites, despite those being obviously taking advantage of women. But yeah, no, they must remove the taking advantage of fictional women that don't exist. That is truly where the fight must go. That's how you know this is toucan psyop shit.
Yelling at them for supporting Steam by allowing them to use their services. And Visa's like, man, I fucking hate families. and I fucking hate Heartbound. And so they told Steam, you gotta remove this shit, or we're just not gonna let you process payments anymore. And the thing is, I know this is crazy, but in order to receive money, someone has to give it to you first. And without Visa and without Mastercard, no one is giving you shit. So unsurprisingly, Steam folded literally immediately and just removed that shit. And people are upset. They're mad. They want to tell their friends how much they love their family. I understand. I love my family too. Maybe not that much. And the story continues a little farther. Gamers get upset. They're like, hey, wait a second. If they could accomplish all this with about 1,000 emails, I bet we could make way more than that. So they sent a bunch of emails, they made a bunch of petitions, people are going all kinds of crazy. And they did get a response from Visa. And Visa basically said, damn, dog, that's crazy. You guys can kind of suck our dick though, because we've already made this decision and we don't want it to come out in the media that we said, all right guys, actually being with your family, totally cool, especially when you're literally inside of them. And I genuinely think Visa is probably really fucking confused. They're like, why are people so mad about this extremely degenerate porn? I bet you
They're not confused. And Devin is playing, he's playing stupid here, which I don't appreciate. I do not appreciate it. There's a difference between hiding your power level and playing dumb. You don't have to play dumb. Devin knows he's playing dumb. He knows what the deal is.
there is some fucking dude up there who's like, damn, I didn't know this shit was that popular. This is crazy. Is that really why people are so mad? Have families just gotten a lot closer over time? No, people just don't like the idea of the payment processors being able to control what kind of games you play. And they're worried that it'll start with the stuff that no one agrees with, and it'll slow.
This is what he was talking about on Chudcast. This video's already outdated because it literally just happened with mouthwashing getting removed. But there's someone in the comments saying that their itch.io page had a Steam purchase link or something, and that was the reason. I don't know what the deal with that is. But even something like Fear and Hunger is a video game. I mean, yes, it has not safe for work content in it. But the fact that itch.io removed all not safe for work content, not just incest and rape games, literally itch.io got rid of everything, delisted everything with not safe for work content. Yeah, the slippery slope already happened in like a week. It only took a week. That's not even a slippery slope. That's a cliff. That's not a slope. This is a cliff.
Slowly encroach upon things that are just generally controversial. That's why it's important to note that the advocacy group who
What the fuck is this Thai flash game? This looks horrible.
All of this shit is Australian, because Australia perfectly illustrates what people are afraid of. Australia bans basically fucking everything. You're not allowed to do shit in Australia. They catch your ass breathing wrong in Australia, straight to jail. Nothing. Ban your ass from the country. Everyone already knows about GTA getting fucked with by Australia, but it is far more ridiculous than that. Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact is banned in Australia. This right here is too objectionable for Australians. They're not allowed to have it. We make fun of the UK for needing a license for everything. A TV license, a breathing license, internet license, dick-sucking license. But at least you're allowed to...
No, that you actually don't need a license to suck dick. That's one of the ones you don't. In fact, they encourage that in the streets.
Do it eventually. Hunter x Hunter, that's too far. The Australian people are simply too weak-minded to handle Hunter x Hunter and its complex themes. Truly, even a dose of anime will completely destroy the psyche of a normal person and cause them to be deranged and immoral. Indie games aren't safe from this shit either. And I'm not talking about hatred. That was banned in a lot of places. Still fucking lame, but not just Australia. But Sludge Life, a game where literally all you do is walk around and collect cigarettes, is banned in Australia. You cannot buy it. You can't even redeem Steam keys of it. So this is what people are afraid of. Sludge.
Yeah, dude, what the Australia really is the prison island. Giant prison island. The nanny government can just tell you how to breathe. That's pretty sad.
life. Shit like sludge life is what they're worried about. That it'll start with things that no one
what the
disagrees
fuck?
with.
I think my
That basically
anus
everyone's
is
like,
bleeding.
"Eh."
What the fuck is this gay ass game? You go into into the bathroom, dude's shitting, and his anus is bleeding. Okay, interesting.
And maybe we shouldn't be having that on Steam. To a game whose only sin is literally just referencing drugs that don't even exist. Just having a druggy atmosphere is too far. And if it got banned for the cigarettes, that's even worse.
Fair, I'd probably
those
ban
are
this in my
illegal
country, too.
literally anywhere.
That's
Only
funny.
because I've seen. I do have some viewers in Australia. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, genuinely, what is going on? I'll
Spyro
admit it,
music.
I may be one of Australia's greatest haters. It's only for one thing. Every Australian talks about the crazy wildlife, and people are like, whoa, you guys are basically living in like Jurassic Park or something. You're so tough. And they're like, yeah, we're tough. Us Australians could.
I love how Devin can't do an Australian accent, so he did like a southern accent. What the fuck? He didn't even try. Like, what was that? Yeah, it's like a Texan. Yeah.
Take fucking anyone on because we beat up kangaroos and shit. But the reality of Australia is it's a bunch of fucking soy boy cucks who have fought for literally nothing ever. They lost a war to fucking birds, and they all live in cities, so they never deal with any.
Devin's ranting about Australians because he's not allowed to rant about Jews, which is the real problem, which is exactly what we know he wants. So he just turned to a joke video about making fun of Australians. I mean, yes, Collective Shout is an Australian organization, but it is a government-backed organization, so it's not like literally the average Australian's problem.
of the wildlife that everyone talks about. Fuck you guys. You're pussies. Eat shit. Your entire people are too weak to either A, fight for anything, or your government is actually right and you are so weak-minded that you genuinely cannot handle objectionable themes of any kind. Either way, eat shit. Australians suck. Worst country on the planet. May the sun melt you all to ash. Anyway, so how realistic is this potential reality really? Will Visa start attacking Steam for more and more reasonable content? Given their response to the backlash, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. It's more likely than you think, because their real argument for this is they're a global company and they have to follow not just the laws of the US or whatever country that actually matters, but they're trying to abide by everyone. And that includes countries like Australia that ban basically everything. So it's reasonable to think that in order to keep their brand Australia safe, that they'll pressure companies like Steam or itch.io to remove any game that would be banned in countries like Australia. Germany's another big one. I hear they ban a bunch of stuff too, but it's more related to a certain thing that they don't like talking about. That's not really the point to me though, because I do still think that's pretty unlikely. I think for the most part, the worst they'll do is remove all of the porn from Steam. And I get it, there are a lot of gooners out there, but you don't need to be jerking off in a place where everyone knows you're jerking off. You can do it all by your...
No, piracy's too hard though. What do you mean? I mean, I never understood that logic, because I feel like it's usually like the third world countries that pirate the most. If Brazilians can figure out how to pirate, I'm sure the average American can, you lazy fucks.
Lonesome. There are 1,000 other sites where you can do it for free, the same games, and you don't have to pay for them, but you do you while you can, I guess. No, the far more important thing has already been happening for a decade, probably more, and that's basically unpersoning people. It's removing people, actual
More Spyro
individuals
music
from the banking system. There are literally people out there who cannot make a new bank account because they've been flagged for making objectionable content or thinking unclean thoughts, which to me is far more scary. That's like a far crazier slippery slope than just some more games might be removed from Steam. Because I'm a people, I have unclean thoughts, and if I don't have a bank, I will just die.
Devin's never had an unclean thought. What is he talking about? This is lies. What do you mean? Devin's the purest amongst us.
Unfortunately, to be paid, I have to have a bank that the money goes to. And then in order to buy food, which I need to live, I have to get it out of...
Devin doesn't buy food. Liar. Exposed. I buy the food. Why is he lying to you?
a bank. In my own small way, I've been trying to get people to think about this problem every time I mention the Federal Reserve. I can't really talk about it because I don't want to be drone striked from space, but I find it completely unreasonable that the people who literally hold all of the money can just do whatever they want. In fact, I find...
You know what's funny? Here's a fun fact. Devin said even when YouTube when he gets his first paycheck and gets paid in the future, he still says, I have to buy the food.
It profoundly strange that it took very close family content being removed from Steam for people to start thinking it's weird that
he stretches his
small
neck?
group of individuals can control...
Okay, that looks fucking cursed. This kangaroo 3D platformer guy stretches his neck when he's hanging from the what the hell?
Whether money moves places or not. That they can literally bring a billion-dollar company to its knees over nothing. Luckily, there are some people who actually have been thinking about this for longer. Right now, even, there's an act being passed or attempting to be passed that would prevent payment processors from being able to stop doing business with people based on their opinions. So that's pretty cool. You already know there are going to be some dipshits that are like, it's a private company. They can choose to do whatever they want with anything, which first of all, no one can choose what they want to do with anything ever. I'm not allowed to go outside and beat someone to death with a rock. I think I should be able to do that, but I'm not. And private companies have their own set of bullshit rules that they have to follow. This would just be another one added to the pile. This is something I've always found profoundly silly about libertarians, is the idea that the government putting you down is somehow different from a company putting you down. If I am no longer able to move money around, I genuinely don't give a fuck if it's because the government is stopping me from doing it or a private company is stopping me from doing it. The point is, violence is illegal, so what am I supposed to do? These type of restrictions already exist anyway. They exist on all utilities. The water company is not allowed to cut off water from your house just because they don't like you. Imagine if you were allowed to just kill people by removing their ability to purchase necessities and there was nothing they could do about it because everything else, how you would solve that problem, is illegal. Obviously, that's unreasonable. I don't think it's unreasonable to consider the ability to buy things to be as necessary for life as water or electricity. I just think it's kind of sad that it took Coomer content that probably shouldn't even be on Steam in the first place being attacked for people to think about this. In fact, literally the opposite is going on. There are people who are objecting to this new law because it specifically lists right-wing content and traditional energy instead of porn. They literally want a new law drafted that specifically defends porn and not those other things. That's how I know some of you slippery slope motherfuckers are lying. You genuinely only care about jerking off. It's not about the
that's for a reason, obviously. I mean, this is the cope. Oh yeah, Devin was telling me that he was struggling to find like real Nikkei footage for some reason. Like I don't know if he got lazy and wasn't looking around multiple channels or something, but apparently people would cut like every few seconds, and it's like, why even show gameplay on screen in the first place if you're only going to show like 3 seconds at a time or some shit? But whatever. Anyway, I lost my train of thought because I was looking at the screen. But that's because, people are not... The only reason people aren't killing themselves is because of porn. Like, there's a shit ton of people. So, of course, I mean, it's an addiction, just like drugs or any alcohol, any other addiction, whatever. So, yeah, you threaten to take the addiction away, and that's going to get people to react more than nuclear energy, even though, nuclear energy is much better for the planet than porn. But whatever, anyway.
Your picture, it's about defeating the chuds and beating your meat. Normally, everyone puts in these videos the imagine a world where there are no games you can play and they've all been removed. Honestly, doesn't scare me that bad. Video games kind of fucking suck, dog.
Base.
All the shit I do related to video games is
hell.
legal in quotes anyway. But the idea of having your own personal bank account being removed and you being unable to purchase things anymore seems far more crazy. Something that's actually something you should be worried about. But enough talk about not video games on my video games channel. So in order to save the video games, what should we do? Well, I wouldn't just keep sending emails or signing more petitions. I don't think that's gonna help. At this point, what you're actively fighting for is too objectionable for Visa to ever care about. Visa is not the problem here. It's them having the ability to do this in the first place. Though, if you're really stuck on the email...
So what, you're gonna say nuke Israel? Is that where we're going with this? I don't think so. Probably not. I'm interested to hear what solution he's allowed to say. I guess we'll see.
Idea. Sheer volume might actually help, because the idea is if you have an email, you are using it for a reason. That email hopefully exists for a real purpose. But if that email is literally flooded by unique email addresses, meaning nothing can be blocked by spam, you can make that email difficult to use for legitimate purposes because it's just flooded. Because any real email you would like to see is hidden by thousands of emails that don't matter. In order for that to work, though, you'd have to actually find important emails, like the email addresses of people. Now, I'm sure you could.
I wouldn't be shocked, though, if some of these companies use AI to just filter out any specific subject matters from official emails. I mean, maybe not with some of these government agencies because they're so far behind. But if they don't already do that now, they probably will in the future. So it's kind of debatable how effective that might be.
Find them, but it might take a little effort, so it'll probably never happen. That's why I say kind of not the greatest method to do this. I think we are far better off, and it's the far safer and easier option, is the complete destruction of Australia. Now, before you
okay, he just said Australia instead of Israel. I fucking this is a dog whistle. This is like saying Brazilian or toucan or whatever. Like, you just replace Australia with Israel in this video, and then you're like, okay, I understand what Devin's really thinking.
Just know that nothing of value would be lost. Their most important asset, Steve Irwin, they already killed for being...
I love how I keep saying Steve Irwin instead of Irwin. Someone caught that on Chudcast. I wouldn't be shocked if people caught it in this comment section too, but whatever.
Based. And Australia has literally produced nothing else of importance. The actual method would be very simple. Profoundly easy. All of the Australian people live in cities, meaning with just a big, thing that destroys large area that we all know about, and you just put a couple around the places where they all are, problem solved nearly instantly. There's nothing they could do. But if you're a massive pussy and you don't want to actually solve the problem, what you need to do is what you should have been doing anyway. It should be very clear now that if you buy something on Steam, you don't own that game. Steam doesn't even own that game anymore. Visa does. I genuinely only use Steam purchasing for things that have to be online. Things that would be shut down anyway if support was removed. Sign Stop Killing Games, by the way.
Yes, Devin pirates everything else, is what he's saying indirectly.
There's still time if you're a European. It's just funny how it's so much easier to take something down that is completely legal from a legal platform like Steam than it is to take down an illegal download from a blatantly illegal site. The trick is, when you actually own something, you have it forever. So even if the site gets taken down, you can always just re-upload it. Or if it's a torrent, which is what most people use for this kind of stuff, you don't even need a site to host anything. What's funny is I bet everyone's thinking of piracy, but I'm just thinking of all the fan games that have been taken down by Nintendo, and you can still find basically anywhere. I mean, they took down the entire site. Relic Castle was a Pokemon fan game site with thousands of articles on thousands of games that was taken down and then instantly re-uploaded, I don't know, a week later, and has been there ever since. It's now EV Harbor. It's just crazy. When you actually own something, they can't take it away from you except by force. And I mean literally force. They would have to break into my house and smash my computer. And it benefits everyone because it's a lot.
Never say never, given the type of shit at least I talk about.
lot harder to stop the distribution of something if it's being spread by 100 different people from 100 different countries. And this is extremely niche stuff we're talking about. When Relic Castle was taken down, it was probably only a handful of people that had access to all of these files. And it didn't matter. It was still back up a week later. So if we're talking about anything actually popular, as long as anybody owns it, distribution would be extremely easy and reappear nearly instantly. If you actually care about Visa taking down games from sites like itch.io or Steam, you should care more about owning your own stuff and less about letting your friends know when you're jerking off. But that's just my opinion, though. You can always do the lame stuff, contacting your local representative, maybe starting a petition, send a million emails. I just think this particular situation is not that interesting. It's not that new, but it is representative of real problems that nobody cares about anyway. So who gives a fuck? So see you next video where I talk about more doomer propaganda. From my pod, I will show you how to properly eat bugs. So subscribe. Bye.
Devin's outros are very fast. I can't get over how fast his outros are. Never forget women ruin everything as the government caters to them. The alcohol prohibition started because of angry wives. Indeed. Minute World, thanks for $5. Watch Marathon Recompile for the jog breakdown. God damn it, Sensei, you pussy! Eat the cunny juices!